All right, squad. When analyzing your running video, you'll be using 5 pieces of criteria as metrics to track your improvements. You can use an app called OnForm that will allow you to go through your video frame by frame, as well as allowing you to draw lines and to measure angles. The first metric we'll look at is initial contact. Where is your foot when it first hit the ground, and where is that in relationship to your general center of mass or to the rest of your body? Are you reaching and landing way out in front of you, or are you landing closer to underneath of your body? Now that we've touched down, the second metric is how long does it take to get from that initial contact to your pose position? The longer it takes, the more time you're spending on the ground, and that's slowing you down and inviting injury. Now that we're in pose, the third metric is your pose alignment. You want to get to your pose position and be pretty vertical with good posture. That means no bending forward at the waist. Or if you get to your pose position late, you'll already be leaning forward by the time you get to your pose position, and either one of those things is going to take away from your ability to use gravity most effectively to move you through space. Now that we're falling forward in our pose position, metric number 4 is how long does it take to get from pose back into the air. And the fifth and final metric, now that we're working to get into the air, are you using a quick and timely pull to pull your foot from the ground to get into the air? Or is there a dramatic extending of the back leg, like an attempt to push off before you pull that foot off of the ground? Let's take a look at these 5 metrics in the OnForm app right now. All right, so we've got me coming into frame right here. And the very first thing we need to see is metric number 1, where am I making my initial contact? Boom. So you see my initial touchdown is right there. And where is that? It's way out front of my center of mass. So I can draw a line straight up from there. And then another line that goes right through my hips, my general center of mass, and boom. That space right there is injury land. So we want to make that space ideally a little bit smaller, meaning that we're landing closer to our general center of mass or closer to under our hips. From there, we'll go into our second metric. How long does it take to get to my pose position? And for this, we'll count frames. I've got this video at 60 frames per second, so ideally, I'll be getting into my pose position between 2 and 4 frames. So let's start counting them off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 frames to get to that figure 4 pose position. And there's that figure 4 pose shape that we're looking for. Since it took so long to get to this pose position, 8 frames rather than 2 to 4 frames, it means that we need to make initial contact or land closer to this position. Now that we're in pose, how is my alignment? A straight up vertical line, ideally when we get to pose, we'll be completely vertical, would look just like this. So while my posture is good, I'm not bending forward at the waist, my chest isn't, pointing towards the ground, I did get to my pose position a little bit late. So I'm already falling forward a little bit, meaning that I'm not going to be able to best utilize gravity because I left my trail leg behind me too far. So if you want to get into pose, this line right here should be going through my ear when I'm in this figure 4 shape versus my body already being past it. From our pose position, how long does it take to get back into the air? So we'll start falling forward and counting frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 frames to get up into the air. And again, just like time to get to pose, ideally we'd want to see this between 2 and 4 frames. So again, that was almost double the amount of time that we'd like to see from getting from pose position to getting up into the air. And then the last thing we'll look at for our metrics is number 5. Am I doing a quick and timely pull, or am I trying to push off? So if we look at me rolling, falling forward, and trying to get that back leg off of the ground, this back leg gets kind of straight, which could signal that I'm pushing off, or it could signal that I'm just not pulling quickly enough. Either way, my pull isn't on time here. So my goal needs to be to pull that back foot up off of the ground more quickly. And then again, that would lead me right back to my next initial contact. So all 5 criteria. 1, where is your initial contact? 2, how long does it take to get to your pose position? 3, what does your pose position alignment look like? Are you already past vertical? Are you bending forward at the waist? 4, how long does it take to get up into the air? And 5, am I pushing off of that back leg, or am I quickly pulling off of that back leg? All right, squad. Throughout this course, you'll learn what good running looks like, and you can use these metrics to match yourself against that standard. You'll learn to better perceive what that standard feels like, and then look to recreate those sensations in your everyday running. Let's get after it, team.